Hey, what's good, everybody? I'd like to welcome you guys back to the Boombox Guru channel. I'm your host, LB. So we got another CD update video for you guys. CD update number 11, I believe. Excuse me if my voice sounds a little hoarse or whatever, man. Kind of been under the weather this week, man. It's been a bit of a rough week for me, man. I've been under the weather, but I'm feeling a lot better now. And I decided to jump on here and do this CD update video. So this one is gonna be different, man, because I know the past two I've done were more focused on hip hop. This was more focused on metal albums that I've recent releases from some of these bands as well. So I picked 5 albums right here that I've bought in the past few months or a year or so. So don't want this to be an overly long video, man. So we're gonna jump right into this, man. So the first album I got right here is Winterbane by Frozen Crown, and this actually came out back in 2021. I'm not sure at what time this album was released in 2021. I want to say maybe mid or late 2021, but this is their most recent release. I believe this is their third record that you can released on Scarlet Records. Comes in a digipack, a really cool layout, really cool cover, back cover. Let's see here. Here's the CD. Real cool CD cover art and everything like that. Yeah, just a really cool layout and everything like that, man. I gotta say, man, you know what? I think this one has become my favorite Frozen Crown album thus far. And I was a little skeptical about it at first because they had some lineup changes in between this one and the previous record. And one of the things that really drew me to the band was their original lead guitarist, Talia Belazeka. Hope I'm pronouncing her name right. But she ended up leaving the band after the second album, her and a few other people. And, they got replaced with new members. But Winterbane is honestly probably their heaviest record thus far. And that's not to really, downplay the previous records, because the previous records are good, too. They're heavy, but I don't know. To me, they just seemed a lot more aggressive on this record as far as the sound and the singing and so forth. Man, it just seemed a lot more aggressive. Like the riffs seemed to be the riffs seemed to pack a whole much more of a punch in that department. Man, a lot of great solos, a lot of fast tempos, borderline speed metal, or you could say speed metal in a lot of regards, man. But definitely a great record. If you're somebody that's a fan of power metal, I highly recommend it. I know power metal gets a lot of flack because it can be cringy, it can be hokey, but Frozen Crown is probably one of the few bands out there that they have a good balance. Like, yes, they do have stories based around fantasy and adventures and stuff like that, but it's not cringy, man. They have a really good balance of bringing that type of subject matter, as well as having great musicianship, very heavy, man. I really enjoyed this record. So if you're not up on Frozen Crown, I highly recommend you check them out. Also check out their 2 previous records. But Winterbane, man, I thought was really awesome, man. And I'm glad I finally checked out the record and bought it, man. But I highly enjoyed this record, man. So definitely give this one a listen if you haven't heard Winterbane by Frozen Crown. Highly recommend it. Great heavy metal right here, man. All right, so the next album is Whitechapel with Ken. And this came out. I know this album came out towards the end of 2021. As you can see, Metal Blade Records, another digipack. Cool layout. Really like the cover. Let's see here. Here's the CD and everything like that. Yeah, Whitechapel was a band that I just recently started really getting into. And a shout out to my man, Zake the Metalhead. He's the one that really put me on to this album. He played me the song Anti-Cure that appears on here. And I was blown away. And I instantly was like, you know what? I need to dig more into this band. I can tell you I like this record than the previous ones. Because, Whitechapel was considered one of those premier deathcore bands. But with this record, man, they really diversified their sound. It's not just straight up brutal deathcore. The subject matter has evolved as well. Uh, there's a lot of elements of melodic death metal on here. Yeah, they still go into the deathcore roots, but there's a lot of progressive metal, technical metal, even some post grunge kind of alternative like metal elements sprinkled throughout the record, man. There's moments on this album where the band kind of reminds me of early Opeth, before they went full fledged like progressive rock. You know how they just are able to like bring that harshness and contrast it with like melody and be heavy. It just sounds great, man. There's just a lot of times where it kind of reminds me of Opeth, as well as moments where they kind of remind me of Tool, and even like a more heavier or extreme Breaking Benjamin, dare I say. But hey, I like Breaking Benjamin, so no Breaking Benjamin haters in the comments. But yeah, I really enjoyed this record, man. I wish this record had came out in 2022, because honestly, it would have made my list of best metal albums of 2022. But it came out like right at the cusp end of 2021. I think maybe around December of 2021, man. But still a great record. I'm a fan of it. I've become a fan of Whitechapel. I'm not too crazy about their earlier work where they were more like a straightforward deathcore band. I think this record and The Valley what's really piqued my interest. So I'm more so looking forward to what they're gonna do next as well, man. But I highly enjoyed this record, man. It's just so diverse, like it's not boring. It keeps your interest throughout the whole entire record, man. So I don't know what longtime Whitechapel fans may think about this. From what I've read, a lot of people have really enjoyed this record and the new direction that Whitechapel is going with their music, man. But just a lot of great music on here. So another great record that I highly recommend that if you haven't heard, to give it a listen and check it out, man. All right, this next album, man. Now this next album, I did a post about it on Instagram when I got it. And I already said that, this was gonna be one of my favorite metal albums of 2022, man. But this is Venom Prison with Erebos. And this came out in 2022, Century Media. Venom Prison, man, they're a death metal band. I think they're from Wales. I think they're from South Wales. I know they're from over in the UK. They're a death metal band. This is actually, I think, their fourth or fifth album. So they're not necessarily new. They're not necessarily new. They actually been cranking out a lot of music for quite a while. But I think it's been recently with this release where they're starting to get a lot more attention and a recognition for what they've done. But they've been out for a few years now. But this is my first Venom Prison album. Heard about them through Metal Trench's YouTube channel. But I don't know. I think I did a reaction to one of the songs, Judges of the Underworld. And I dug that song so much that I went and checked out the whole entire album on Spotify, because I saw where it had just came out, actually, when I reacted to that video. And I was blown away, man. This is not your ordinary death metal. If you're somebody that's maybe looking for some of that kind of old school, straightforward death metal, like, I don't know, maybe like Cannibal Corpse or, I don't know, Morbid Angel type stuff, or, well, maybe, I don't know, if you like Morbid Angel, you may like this, but, I mean, I'm thinking more like Cannibal Corpse or something like that, or, I don't know, Deicide. I don't know, this may not be for you, but, they basically take so many different elements and they just created their own unique death metal sound, man. Like, you got death metal, you also got elements of deathcore, then there's a hardcore aesthetic to the music as well. Then there's progressive and technical metal, as well as melodic death metal. So all of these different styles, all these different genres kind of formulate this unique style that Venom Prison display, man. And it's great. And I like when bands can do that, because it keeps the music interesting. Like, you don't get bored. Like, anytime I listen to this album, Erebos, man, I'm always excited and anticipating when it gets to the next song, because I know the next song is going to be better than the last one. So that's what I enjoy so much about this album, man. It's one of the most unique death metal albums I've heard in a long time. Some may disagree, but I enjoyed it. I highly enjoyed it. I like all the different styles, all that they fuse together to create this unique sound. And I'm looking forward to hearing more from Venom Prison. I'm glad to see them get the recognition that they so rightly deserve, because they're a great band. They're great musicians, and they really showed and proved on Erebos, man. So hey, don't sleep on Venom Prison. Definitely don't sleep on Erebos, man. If you have not listened to this album, what are you waiting on? Go to Spotify, wherever you stream, or if you're somebody like me that's still in the physical, go get you a copy of this album. You will not be disappointed, man. Just definitely one of the top extreme metal albums of 2022. I like this record. Listen to it quite a bit. So, hey, I wouldn't steer you wrong. Take my word for it. You wouldn't not be disappointed. But definitely, I highly recommend that you give this album a listen, man. Great record. All right. Next, we have and this band, I think this band's actually been out. I think they've been around a few years, but I think this might be their first official album. This is Bloodywood with Rakshak. I hope I pronounced that title right. But this is actually an independent release. This album is yeah, they did this all on their own, like another digipack. You know, digipack is like the thing now, but it's all digipack. Great layout, great cover art. Let me see if I can pull out the CD here, show you guys here. Here's the CD and everything like that. But they did all this independently. They're not, as far as I know, they're not signed to a label at the moment. I don't know. They could be in the talks with somebody right now. This is the booklet, and the booklet just got lyrics and stuff in it, as you can see. It just got lyrics. But I don't think they're signed. I think they're still like straight up independent, self-released. But they did all of this themselves. So that, I thought that was really cool to see a band that's strictly, truly independent and doing all it, produce such a quality like packaging like this, man. That was really cool. But yeah, Bloodywood, these guys are a metal band. They're from India. And what they do, this is another interesting band. They take elements of like Indian folk music and they blend it with like new metal, rap metal, as well as like a little bit of groove metal. Electronic music is added in there in the mix, and just straight up modern heavy metal, just modern metal, man. Well, there was a song that they done off this album called Dan Dan that a lot of people were reacting to. I reacted to the video myself, and I thought that song was really interesting. It just did something that I didn't expect. And then I went and checked out the entire album on Spotify, and I was blown away by how they just take all these different elements and they just created this unique sound. Again, I know this seems to be a running theme through this video, but I really enjoy metal bands that don't just stick to the same old typical stuff, man. That they can do something that's interesting and make it, you know, more exciting and not stale. That's the best way I can put it, man. And they've done it with this album. Just the folk influences and the rap vocals. The rapper in the band, I think his name is Raul Kerr. Hope I pronounced that right, but he does a great job. He's not your typical rap metal vocalist. Like, he actually knows how to rap. And the subject matter on here on this album is mainly political, social commentary, things of that nature, man. But great guys, man. Great band. The music on here is just a great album. You got to go check it out yourself, man. But it sounds so great sonically, great production, everything. Really enjoyed this record, man. Every song on here from start to finish is great. So Bloodywood, definitely go and check them out. And like I said, make sure you go support them, buy straight from them, you know, because they're doing everything independently, man. And I look forward to hearing more from this band and seeing them blow up even further, man. But yeah, Rakshak by Bloodywood, great release, man, for 2022. And now we're down to the last one, and I don't want to say save the best for last. I would say maybe save one of my favorites for last, man. But that is none other than the new Meshuggah album, Immutable, which came out, when this come out? April of 2022? Yeah, I pre-ordered this actually. I pre-ordered it. I also had a T-shirt. I should have grabbed the T-shirt. But yeah, another cool layout. Digipack. Let's see here. Here's the CD. And this is their first release not on Nuclear Blast. This is on Atomic Fire. This is their first release. This is their first album not to be released on Nuclear Blast, man. They was with Nuclear Blast for over 30 years. But I think Atomic Fire is a label that was started by former people or maybe a former like founder of Nuclear Blast. I'm not sure. I don't know the whole story behind that, but I know that whoever's running Atomic Fire, they were one of the people responsible for Nuclear Blast, or they worked there or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, this is the booklet and everything. It's got the lyrics on the back, but it also folds out into like I don't know if you guys can see that. It's like the poster of the it's a poster of the album cover with the lyrics on the back and stuff like that. So there's not like a whole lot of pictures or anything to go along with it, which I mean, I don't think Meshuggah does that too much anyway. But yeah, Immutable, man, we've been waiting like 6 years. Meshuggah fans, my fellow Meshuggah fans out there, man, we've been waiting 6 years for a new Meshuggah album, because the last one was The Violent Sleeper Reason, which came out back in 2016. That doesn't even seem like that's been that long ago, but that's actually been a while. 2016, that's actually been a while since that's been a good while. Sorry. Yeah, well, I'm not sorry, but yeah, it's really been a good while since that last record. And so I was very excited to see on Instagram that they started posting pics of them in the studio working on new material and stuff of that nature. I was like, yeah, Meshuggah's finally working on a new album. Took a couple of years, a lot of things happened in between there, but then when they dropped that first single, what was it? The first song I heard, I think, was The Abysmal Eye. That was the first song that I heard when they started to gearing down to the album coming out. I think it was The Abysmal Eye. And I was like, okay, this is cool, but I think Broken Cog was the one that really caught my attention the most, because it was something that was really different. For one thing, it was a lot slower than, well, Meshuggah's done slow songs before, but this song just had something different about it. I don't know what it was. It just kind of had sort of like a more doomy, like sludgy aesthetic to it. And then Jens Kidman, the lead vocalist, man, he wasn't doing his trademark style through most of the verses, man. He was like whispering the first couple of verses. But I really enjoyed this record. I think it was definitely worth the 6-year wait. Cause in them 6 years, you kind of left wondering, well, what can Meshuggah really do? How can they, what can they do to really like top themselves? Cause I mean, they've done so much, man. Like, they've pretty much changed the sound of. They're one of the bands that really changed the sound of modern metal. Like most of your up and coming metal bands have some trace of Meshuggah in their sound. So it was kind of making me wonder, like, what can they do next to really like take them to another like era or whatever. And I can hear it in this record, man. There's a bit more melody in some of the songs. There's like some atmosphere it takes. You just have to listen to that record to really get it, man. But there's definitely some different things that are going on with this record that's where it's not really the typical Meshuggah. I mean, it's Meshuggah enough to where, like, when you hear it, you're like, oh yeah, that's definitely Meshuggah. But then they're also giving you some things here and there that you don't typically hear in the Meshuggah sound, and you're like, oh, okay, so these guys are, they found something new. Oh, they found something unique and interesting, something more interesting to do with their sound. So that's what I really dig about this record, man. It was definitely worth the wait, man. I had to like wean myself from listening to this album, because I was starting to get a little burnt out on it, man, because I was listening to it so much when I first got it. Because you gotta understand, Meshuggah is one of my favorite metal bands, and like I said, it had been 6 years since we got that last album. So I was ready to hear new Meshuggah, man, but it was definitely worth the wait, man. There's sometimes it's hard to pick favorite songs on here. I know I like Broken Cog, Light the Shortening Fuse, Phantoms, Ligature Marks. Let's see here. Kaleidoscope was a favorite of mine. The Faultless, Armies of the Preposterous. Just a lot of great songs on here. I think there's like 3 instrumentals on here. Black Cathedral was kind of a black metal, death metal kind of instrumental that was really cool. Past Tense was that's what ends it. It's like a very somber one that ends the album, and I think it's They Move. Is it They Move Below? I think They Move Below. That's probably my favorite instrumental on the album. That one, that instrumental was just great, man, extraordinary, man. But yeah, man, Meshuggah, man, I definitely would put this album up in one of like their best Meshuggah, one of the best Meshuggah albums. Like if I had a list of the best Meshuggah albums, I think I would put this one definitely in that list, cause I really think it's one of their best albums. Honestly, I highly enjoyed it. So yeah, man, Meshuggah with Immutable, released on Atomic Fire. Yeah, definitely worth the wait, man. I'm glad to get this new Meshuggah album, man. I don't know. I could talk about this album all day all night when I'm not, man. But yeah, if you ain't heard this one, definitely go check it out. Like I said, it was definitely worth the 6-year wait. And yeah, man, Meshuggah they've done it again with this record, man. So definitely go check out Immutable. But yeah, man, that's it for this video. This video ran a little bit long, but hey, I kind of had a lot to talk about with each of these albums, and so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And like I said, forgive me if my voice sounded a little off. Like I said, this week, whenever this video drops, like this week it been kind of rough, man. Kind of been sick, been under the weather a little bit, man. So that if my voice sounds a little off, that's probably why. But yeah, like I said, man. Dang, I lost my train of thought. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's if my voice sounds a little bit weird off, man. It's because I've been under the weather, but I feel a lot better now, and I'm kind of trying to get back into the groove of things, man. But in anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this new CD update video. If you did, do me a huge favor, hit that like button, give me a thumbs up because it helps with the algorithm. Also, be sure to tap that bell, and hit the subscribe button, tap the bell. That way you'll be notified whenever I drop new content. A big shout out to all my old and new subscribers, everybody that's been watching the videos, showing their support, man. I truly appreciate it. And as always, love, peace, and music, and hope everybody has a blessed week, man. Peace out, y'all.